the meeting to order. I'd like us all to pause to seek guidance. Okay, for the adoption of the agenda, there is an addition. Could we have in camera human personnel? What did we say, personnel?
Yep.
Yeah, human resources. And there's no other additions? Could I have someone approve?
I'll move the agenda as amended.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Next is a presentation from Jay Stone, Limitations of Commercial Trucking in Our Area. Could I have someone move or he
I'll
come forward?
move that Jay Stone come before council.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Up to the table, please.
It's just like one of our committee meetings. Except you're sitting in my chair.
And I'm sober.
Remember, everybody hears this. It's being
Yes.
taped, so remember.
Good thing is I know everybody. Okay. I'll just go ahead and read what I have here and a couple of matters. I realize y'all's hands are tied. But we have some problems here in this county that need to be taken care of. Thank you for the opportunity to address my issues, or should I say my neighborhood community issues. I first addressed this to the council 3 years ago, as you all remember. If you recall, I had 2 pages of signatures from the Sissebu, Morganville, and Bear River area, including First Nations. Overwhelmingly, 85% of the people I talked to wanted changes done to these current problems. Basically, people in this area were fed up with a 24-hour operation of log harvesting and truck engine braking in our neighborhoods during after hours, meaning nighttime. Council recommended harvesters could not operate after 10 p.m. through 8 p.m. due to noise conditions. This was passed and entered into the Digby County Noise Ordinance bylaw. This was a great first step, but only works some of the time. Just last fall, a cut on Crown land off Clark Road was clearly working under the 7 a.m. time period. Overwhelmingly, I believe if a survey was done today in Nova Scotia on current forestry practices, you would find that most Nova Scotians are fed up with the disgraceful way our forests are cut and destroyed. Recently, a Crown land clear cut was stopped in the Round Hill area of Annapolis County because of protest petitions from local residents. I got something to read to you here on that matter there. On January 20th, 2015, Margaret's Bay made the news on CTV because of concern on a large tract of land to be cut. I know of a group I know of a group over the summer on a tract of land north of Caledonia that was fighting to stop the same problem in their neighborhood. So now again we have a large operation in the Morganville area off Tom Wallace Road. This has been going on for some time, and the list goes on and on. 3 years ago, the big news in forestry practices was the regulation changes to clear cutting to have happened in 2015. This would have lowered the harvest from 85% to 50% on large tracts of land. To my knowledge, many calls to Lands and Forest, this has not happened, and I doubt if it ever will. This comes from a Department of Lands and Forest contact that I have made, a friend of mine, which I'm not revealing his name, but he works for Lands and Forest. So what does this mean? The Liberal government obviously is not interested in change. DOT isn't interested in changing anything. So that's why I'm here. Logging has not changed in the last 3 years, nor will it ever unless the right policies become law. You see, log harvesting is not done the way it was 25 years ago. Now it's fast, effective, less manpower needed, with total disregard to the environment or anyone who cares. We have a full-scale logging operation going on pretty much all the time. Now don't get me wrong. Sustainable forestry practices are good for the well-being of the forest ecosystems, animals, and bird life, to mention a few benefits. People have made their living cutting wood in this area for over 150 years. So this forestry is nothing new. So done right, it's a win-win situation. It's the magnitude of too much all or most of the time that creates this problem. We are not talking about ending operations, killing free enterprise, or stepping on small wood lot owners. But in a nutshell, it's pretty darn obvious things have gotten out of hand and need to be fixed. A dollar is a dollar, right? And that's good no matter what the cost. I believe everyone who signed the petition believes it's time for some limitations. And I stress limitations. Now remember, we are talking small backcountry roads here. This is not the 101. Logging trucks, big trucks, road building trucks, and transport trucks are on the road constantly, sometimes 3 to 5 at a time. They operate any day except when closed, which is when DOT closes it in the spring, including holidays, Sunday mornings, blizzards, road thaws, heavy rains, to name a few. The last past weeks, we've seen minus 17. The next day, it's 45. They're out there, full force. They're ruining the roads. They drive too fast at night. They rattle your house at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, or any time. Consideration and common sense for others seems to lack anymore. We are sick of it. The parade of 50 to 100, and I stress, 50 to 100 trucks a day at times during busy times, is always there. The engine braking at 5 o'clock or whenever, the ruts left by these trucks on Clark and Morganville Road during the times they shouldn't be there, you get the picture. So this is why I feel it's time for limitations or changes. Yes, it will be hard to do, but somebody has got to start getting us back on track in the right direction. Trucks of these sizes have no business in our neighborhoods trucks of these sizes have no businesses in our neighborhoods on our roads after hours. They should not be on the roads when conditions warrant problems to the roads, damaging in the ruts and the whole bit. Engine braking should be stopped immediately at night. Consideration and good sense does not apply anymore as long as money can be made, and this seems to be the way it has been for quite some time. Money isn't everything. I urge you to start listening to the people that lose the most from these commercial operations and stop turning your backs to the ones who lose the most from these problems. And that's a problem. The bylaw works, but it doesn't work. When I stated about the problem that we had, the cut that was made off of Clark Road during the summer, I called the police department up. It was dark. I was laughed at. I was told I'm dead serious. I mean, people don't. There's no point in calling it. It should be bylaw officers that deal with these matters. I was told people start early. Now, I have no idea what time they started because I go out to my barn at 6:30 in the morning and take care of my birds. So this cut was a long ways away. But the sound when you hear harvesters working, you always hear this bzz, bzz, and they were clearly breaking the law. So that's why I state some of the time. This is a message that was sent to Cheryl on the internet back in January 10th. Concerned residents of Round Hill, it's official. We've just received a letter from the DNR which states the Department of Natural Resources received input from a number of different sources in relation to harvesting in the Round Hill area. After considering all input received and careful analysis, DNR has decided that the harvesting in question will not proceed. This means not just no clear cutting, but no cutting, period. Friends, with your help, we have saved the woods of the Round Hill lots, number 106 and 107. It just goes to prove that enough of us who care about the environment speak up, we can make the difference. We are happy about this. Thank you for your support, and particularly those who took the time to send emails and letters individually. Now we can go off and celebrate in the woods. I'm not talking here about stop and cutting, and as I stated, it's necessary. It makes people make money from it. I make a living from urban forestry. There's got to be some changes done on our roads. It is wrong to think people that live 25 feet from a road have got to listen to these trucks coming through at 2 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock, Memorial, Good Friday. I don't care when, they're there. Not all of them are doing it, but they're still doing it. And these trucks fly at night. They fly. There has not been a disastrous accident yet. I guarantee you there will be someday. There'll be a deer, or there'll be a coyote, or something that will jump out in front of one of these guys, and somebody will be going in the wrong direction. It's going to happen. And it is unfair to taxpayers. We live in the country. We don't live, like I stated, on the Highway 101. It is darn wrong that we have to put up with that constantly. Now, we're slow right now. But trucks were going all last week. Blizzard conditions, I don't care. They will be out there.
They go in the blizzard too?
Well, hell yes. I heard them talking there. They stopped by the road. I heard a guy talking about how bad the roads were. They still were back there. They're back there all the time. I was going to go look and see where the cut was, and it's regardless. It doesn't matter because I've been told it's horrible. Okay? It's a huge tract of land that was bought off of Irving. And it goes all the way to Harris Lake. Regardless, it's being done, and this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about making changes to the truck traffic and the engine braking and the speed limits that we're seeing, and we're sick of it. And I'm hearing people talk about it, but
When you spoke to the RCMP, they were not interested in checking anything out.
no, it wasn't. So I'm tired of dealing with them. I'm dead serious. The man that I talked to, the meeting that I went to right after the problem that I had a year and a half ago with the guy who was operating at 2:35 in the morning where you couldn't even sleep in your house. He said it wouldn't happen again, but this guy laughed at me. So this clearly happened.
And you were talking to the Digby detachment, right?
Yep. I couldn't tell you who. It's just this is just the way it works. But it was clearly the wrong time period. I mean, it was not bothering me. But every truck that goes by, I hear that. It ticks you off because I mean, you know, we live in a world that's being greatly destroyed quickly. You know, they're talking about out west now in Texas that they're getting more earthquake problems. Maybe that's not right. Maybe it is right. But you know what? We got to breathe. We do have animals and we do have birds. We do got to sleep. I can tell you this, I get tired of waking up at 2:35 in the morning or whenever it is, and these guys are coming by there and they do rattle your windows. So I hope that y'all can talk about this. You know, the next step is not great, really. It's news. It's getting on national news because people are tired of this.
Jimmy?
I made notes on what you raised today, and like a lot of them are the same thing that you raised 3 years ago with regards to the damage to the road, the speed and the Jake brake usage. Yep. We will be talking to the RCMP
Oh, yes.
about your concerns that they can help us with, and we have a meeting set up with the Department of Transportation in the
March the 2nd.
next month. like the regional representative for the area.
Okay.
So we'll be raising issues regarding the road. We'll be talking to the RCMP about speed limits and about the noise bylaw, about it being enforced, because there is a noise bylaw.
Well,
And,
aware of that. It's not for
so-
engine braking though. I have talked to DOT. I've had a meeting with the guy.
Yeah.
Basically, it's, can't do anything about it. I
Well,
think it's high time that something changed.
Well, we can raise it with DOT again, and I think that, and also what we'll be doing is we'll be talking to our MLA.
I was going to say, our MLA is coming in,
We're meeting with them too.
Gordon?
yes.
Gordon doesn't seem interested.
Well, we're
Talk to
gonna,
Gordon.
Well, but we will,
we'll raise it with him because some of these issues are related to the province, that we have to take that's a channel we'll take.
Okay. Can I suggest something, okay?
Yes.
If you were to talk to people, and like I said, I didn't bring the list back in because there's no point. But if you were individually talking to people, I think you would find overwhelmingly, people are tired of it.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, they're fed up with it.
Yeah.
We don't, I mean, let's have engine braking in the town. There's a reason there's a sign there, because people don't want to hear it. You know, it's, we got issues.
I made a
It's-
note.
it's changed.
Yeah, but I made a note, Jay. Like, what we will find out is like there's a noise bylaw, and the Jake brake, using the Jake brake is creating a noise. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. So I think that direction would be something we could explore on trying to address this issue. I mean, and when we talk to the Department of Transportation, we can raise that with them again about they could sign that road, and I think through the RCMP, we could ask them to enforce the rules that are, but we have to get the signage there, and we have to work with them on the first place, get them to agree to work with us on it.
well, we will, or I will be talking to the staff sergeant this week. And I will have Jeff also send over a copy of our bylaw, our noise bylaw. So we will start, even though we're going to meet with TIR, even though we're going to meet with the RCMP and things, I want you to know we're going to start again.
Please.
We have to work our level up, just so you know. I mean, and we will be meeting with Gordon. And Gordon has to go, and then if we're not, we'll be sending out other letters as well. Because you're right, maybe it's time that some things got changed. Not to impede, but to make better.
It's just, Gordon looks at it as a big industry, and it is a big industry, and there's money to be made, and we have to work. And I mean, that's an important part of our economy. We got to have jobs, okay? And in the Bear River area, all you got to do is look at the history books. These guys were cutting wood back in the 1800s, and that's how they made their living. But they didn't go in and take 10 acres a day or whatever, 7 to 10 acres a day. With the trucks lined up, it's things have got to slow down. They really do. I mean, when you look at the stuff going out of there, it's like this. A lot of it's like this. It's pulpwood, it's little stuff. But please do. I know from the letter of this thing that I stated about Round Hill, that's proof right there that things can make a difference with people.
And could
So,
we get a copy of that?
You can have it. You can have it. The one
I'd
on
like to
Mark-
actually have a copy of your whole presentation, if you don't.
Certainly, well, it's my scribble, but
You will-
certainly.
And then Marissa has a question or a comment.
Certainly.
Councillor Tudor had his hand up first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, if we have rules in place, it seems kind of absurd that they wouldn't be enforced. What's the whole point that if we can't pass a law and have it be
The bylaws.
enforced? It's just words on paper, utterly useless. If we go through the trouble of that and people want it, obviously, we don't have to talk to anyone else about the enforcement rules that we already have. And we can't be pushing.
I think in
But we do go through
situations,
the channels.
yeah, I think in
You see what happens
situations,
first, and then
Yep.
there's something you do after, and then there's something you do after that.
I mean, I don't know. Nova Scotians are very passive. They don't like to get involved in things. I got a mouth. I hear it. Things irritate me at times. And that's one of my big ones in my life right now that really is truly irritating me, you know. But, cool. Would you
Right.
please keep me posted?
Oh, yes, Maritza?
Well, my question is, when you talk with DOT, or TIR now, and the damage that's being done to the roads, because I know the ruts and all that kind of stuff, don't they have to go in there and fix those roads?
Yeah, well.
Is there not a comment or anything?
Yeah, I had a good comment.
I mean, it would think that they would see all the damage that's being done.
Well, the comment that was made to me, and this was at another meeting, guy said, well, if you clearly see somebody purposely damaging the road, let us know, and we'll take care of it. That's what the idiot said to me.
You're supposed to, what, lay in the ditch, I guess, and
He said.
write down
That's
the
what he said. That's
license
just
plate number?
stupid. When I hear stuff like that, it's almost like there's a little of this going on. You know, to me, it makes no sense. We need people to, at least DOT in these roads where there's people living in these communities, to kind of check it out once in a while when you have a thaw and a rain that states that common sense says, no, we don't want a truck that weighs whatever, 30 tons or 40 tons going down that road when it's soft. And it happens.
Do they use the double
Trailer?
trailers?
3.5 bunks, the big bunk, they're big trucks, you know. They do go down the road too. They do go down Sisseby Road through the town occasionally too. They're not supposed to, oh yes, they do. They do. I had a guy complaining to me about it because he was tired of hearing Jake brakes.
And they're
that
going-
way.
and
Most
they're
of them
going
go
through.
They go right by my house, blast them. But you'll hear them everywhere. It's like, they got these guys. I don't care that they work at night. Not all of us do. Yeah, but that's not the issue here. The issue is I think we can do something, and if that can change, that may make things a little bit different. At least we'll start becoming a little more civilized in what we're doing, look towards other people. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or concerns? I appreciate you took the time to come to council, and we will let you know what's happening,
Please.
but it's going to take time.
Okay. As I stated to you, it's not going to change. It's going to continue. Nothing has slowed down in the last 3 years. It's unbelievable some days how many trucks go by. Unbelievable. And it's when you get to 3 to 5 of them at a time, now that really gets your heart going, because they like to travel in groups.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they do. You're going down Clark Road, and there's 3 of them coming all the time. So, I feel bad for these people that live back on these small roads. Have to listen to this garbage all the time. Talk to a cop. There's a cop that lives right there off of Franklin Road. I was told he ran one of these guys down for speeding. He's not a Mountie now, but he's an ex-cop. I guess talk to him and find out what his input is on this stuff. Thanks.
Thank you.
All righty. Let's get something done. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
there.
you will.
Not me.
5:45.
Not me.
I'll bring the pickled periwinkle.
Ugh.
I will.
See ya. There's no dangers and unsightly. The next is approval of the minutes of January 12th, 2015.
I move approval of the minutes for January 12th.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Is there any old business or business arising from those minutes? David?
Nope.
Ritza? Jimmy? Okay. New business. Dalhousie Planning Conference, Shift World. They are asking for some money. I'm just going to find it here.
Is there anybody going to that?
It's one of those things I'm interested in. Is anyone else planning on going? Like, because they can pick up and need some information and stuff, but is anyone else thinking of going to that? Because of the rural communities, it seems pertinent quite pertinent, I think, to my area.
I don't remember
which
what
is-
the date
I'm just looking for it here, I just had it a second ago.
There's no fee to go to it, I know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's just the cost of getting there and getting back.
And politeness would dictate that we toss it.
I'd like to know what their agenda is before I say I want to go to it.
Yeah,
It
that's
just
what I was
says
wondering.
Yeah, it's just an
Shift rural.
abstract.
It doesn't really tell you what they're going to talk about.
But I don't remember seeing only a date that it was in sometime in March.
March.
It's
it
in
said
March, and there's not going to be a fee, but they're looking for donations to help put this off, to have it. And I'd like to see an agenda before I'd want to support it. Like, maybe if we could, March is coming up pretty quick. I like the concept of it, but I really would like to know what's going to be the gist of the discussion.
Is it, I'd have to drive to the city, which I would prefer not to do. but-
Okay.
Could I ask that our
Especially if I'm not too
deputies,
sure what's going on.
our deputy CEO call the number, then,
I was just gonna say, I will ask Jeff to look into this and
Yeah,
get
some more information.
We'll bring
Yeah.
it back at council.
I would like some more information. It's piqued my interest anyway, and I tend not to go to.
yeah, it looks good if
meetings,
it's,
But I don't want to leave the islands.
Don't blame you. The next is the Chief Administrator's Officer's report. The only thing we have is the meeting dates and reminders for this month. February 2nd, bylaw and policy. February 9th, committee of the whole. February the 10th, what's today, isn't it February 9th? Yeah. February the 10th is a joint meeting with the town. February 16th, it's a holiday. February 17th is the PAC. February 23rd is council. March 2nd is transportation at 5, and at 6 is bylaw and policy. March 9th is committee of the whole. March 16th is bylaw and policy. March 23rd is council. March 30th, there is no meeting. There is departmental reports. They came forward. Does anyone get any questions on those reports? Yes.
I think there may have been a technical glitch with mine for some of you that accessed your packages before.
Yeah.
Were you able to
The only
read it?
ones-
I can
the
just
only-
go through it quickly.
I was going to say, the only ones that I saw was the dog control and was
Correlate.
Coralie's, the only two I saw.
There was a couple blank pages.
There was two
airport, the
blank
airport
pages
was
with
there.
the
Yeah,
green.
The airport. Yeah, and that was
airport
mine.
was-
There was a technical
Okay.
glitch with
Okay.
mine, so I can just run through
But I
mine.
didn't get the print.
Yeah, mine
I
was just
did.
blank.
Okay, I got it.
I read it.
Yeah, but you got it in the second version.
I don't
That's
have
right.
I don't have any dates for.
I can just run through it quickly
Okay.
if you're okay with that.
Yep.
So out at the airport, I think it's in mine and also appeared in the airport report. We have a few, had a few kind of minor plumbing issues. Some with water going out of the building and a few moving water around in the building. Those are being looked after by our staff and are being addressed. Snow clearing, quite a bit of it at the airport during this time. SMS, we continue to work on some of our remaining layers of the audit. The building department, the insurance claim has been processed, and we're hoping to have the truck back in service this week.
Was there a lot of damage?
Quarter panel.
Yeah, to one, mostly constricted to one area, the rear passenger side, but a fair bit to that one area. Heritage, I think as most of you know, Rob has been quite busy in the past month posting and in different events involved in a few initiatives getting ready for Flag Day. Public Works, January and February we've never had snow clearing like we've experienced over the past little bit. Not only do we do the lot here, the lot at the airport and the runway, clearing for the shift change 3 times a day at the airport, so that midnight shift change, that usually means someone from here is getting called in and going out to clear for access. So those guys have done a terrific job keeping us going through this last stretch. Solid waste, we continue to have, the town has had a few discussions with Greg on recyclables. We continue to have some of those, but they are, due to the time, we are kind of waiting to see where things head with our solid waste contract before we can finalize some of those. So that tender closes this week with the recommendation will be at council this month. Wastewater, business as usual, other than the snow is also making it very challenging for Barry to do his rounds there. He literally is traveling with snowshoes in his vehicle to access some of the stations. my file, the Tiverton washroom, balancing rock, open spaces, and youth civic engagement all continue to be files that I'm working away on.
Okay.
If you need a list for anyone to give the hold of, I'm sure you have it all.
Yes, sure. Yep.
Is there any questions for that report?
I gotta offer to give you information you already have at least once a day.
If there is none, can I have approval of the department reports, please?
So move.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Updates from previous action items, there's no action items that we need this week. Capital project update, there is none. Correspondence and information, Aquaculture Association of Nova Scotia Code of Responsibility you received.
Do they want us to reply or say this looks good or doesn't look good?
Yes, please.
I would just like to see that, like I said, a third party enforcing the rules that come up. If that would be all right.
So, yeah, certainly send that
Just
in.
send it myself? I'm
Yes.
allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything you have, please send it in.
Okay.
Okay, is there any other business anyone would like to bring forward? Hearing none, is there anything from the gallery?
Isn't that crazy?
Okay. All right, and we have an in-camera item, and then we will be finished.
Nice seeing you.
Drag you up here all this way for...
Pat?